Hey everyone, welcome back. You know how it is trying to catch the important stuff in sports without drowning in all the noise?
Yeah, there's just so much out there.
Exactly. So that's what we're doing today. We've looked at the key analysis on two really electrifying NBA playoff games from April 22nd, 2025. Just distilled it for you.
That's right. We're going to dive deep into that Detroit Pistons versus New York Knicks game. And also the Los Angeles Clippers taking on the Denver Nuggets.
And we're going beyond just, the box scores.
Definitely. The mission here is to unpack those key moments, figure out why the games went the way they did.
Right.
And really talk about what it all means for these series moving forward.
Okay, let's jump right in then. Eastern Conference first. Pistons at Knicks. Game 2, Madison Square Garden. Bit of a shocker, wasn't it?
It really was. Pistons grabbed the win, 100-94.
On the road, that evens the series up at 1-1.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Oh, absolutely massive. Anytime you can steal one on the road in the playoffs, especially early, well, it shifts things.
Puts the pressure back on the home team.
Exactly. And if you look at the scoring, quarter by quarter, it tells a bit of a story. Pistons came out hot. Q1 was 25-18, Detroit. They definitely set an early tone.
Okay, so they started fast, but MSG, the Knicks weren't just going to fold.
Not at all. They punched back in the second, actually outscored the Pistons 31-30 in that quarter.
Wow, so it tightened right up before the half.
Yeah, very close going into the break. Then the third quarter, it was kind of a grind.
Low scoring.
Relatively, 20-18 in favor of the Pistons. So they had that slim lead.
Okay.
But the fourth quarter, this is where it gets interesting. The Knicks actually won the quarter, 27-25.
They did, but still lost the game.
Yeah, because the Pistons had built just enough of a cushion, and more importantly, they showed real composure to close it out. The analysis we saw really hammered that point, their ability to finish.
Sounds like a real battle, back and forth. That's playoff basketball, right? Those momentum swings.
Totally gripping.
Yeah.
But yeah, Detroit showed that resilience in the end.
And the sources, they pointed to what? Defense, strategy.
Both, really. Strong defensive execution, especially late in the game, and just a smart strategic game plan overall. It felt like they knew how they wanted to win.
Interesting. And they managed to slow down the Knicks' key players.
It seems like it, particularly when it mattered most. The sources highlighted a Pistons guard, not just scoring, but making smart plays, getting assists.
Right, the intangibles.
Exactly. And their center was apparently a force inside. Rebounds, blocks, controlling the paint.
Yeah.
That stuff doesn't always leap out on the stat sheet, but it's huge.
Crucial. But even with the loss, the Knicks had some guys show up. Right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. There was a forward mentioned who scored consistently.
Okay.
And a guard who made some big defensive plays. So the effort was there.
But the Pistons just had the answers this time.
It seems that way. The initial read suggests Detroit did a better job dictating the style of play, especially on the defensive end.
So the big question for the Knicks now is, how do they adjust?
Precisely. How do they crack that Pistons defense, especially now they've given up that home court edge? That's going to be key going forward.
All right, fascinating stuff in the East. Let's swap over to the West. Los Angeles Clippers at the Denver Nuggets. Ball Arena, the altitude, another tight one.
You could say that again. An absolute nail-biter. Clippers win it 105-102.
Wow. 3 points. So that series is also tied 1-1 now.
Yep, both series knotted up. And this game, the sources called it a roller coaster of emotions.
I bet. High skill level on display.
Absolutely, just back and forth. Looking at the quarters here, Denver actually started strong.
With a home crowd behind them.
Yeah, exactly. Q1 was 31-25 for the Nuggets. They came out firing.
Okay, but the Clippers weathered that initial storm.
They did. Big response in the second quarter.
Yeah.
They put up 30 points to Denver's 21.
So just like the Pistons game, the road team dug out of an early hole.
Kind of erased that early deficit, yeah. Got right back in it by halftime.
And the second half?
Super tight. Third quarter was 23-24, favoring the Nuggets by just 1 point.
Man, nobody could pull away.
Nope. Which set up a really tense fourth quarter. Clippers ended up taking it just barely, 27-26.
So those last few possessions must have been incredibly high pressure.
You have to imagine. And the analysis pointed to a Clippers forward really stepping up.
Pitch performance.
That's the word used, yeah. Making key plays right at the end when it mattered most.
And they mentioned anyone else.
Yeah, a guard who was apparently crucial all game long, scoring, playmaking, sort of the engine for them.
Okay. And on the Nuggets side, even in a loss, you expect stars to shine.
For sure. Their center was highlighted as a real force, controlling the paint, scoring down low.
Right.
And their guard hit some big threes, had important assists, kept them right in it until the very end.
So again, key players performing, but the Clippers just executed a tiny bit better at the finish line.
That seems to be the takeaway. Real mental toughness shown by the Clippers, executing under that intense pressure, especially late.
So for Denver, the adjustment needed might be figuring out how to disrupt those Clippers players late.
That's likely part of it, yeah. The analysis suggests they'll need to look at how to counter those key plays, maybe tighten up defensively in those crunch time moments, especially as the series stays in Denver for now.
Okay, stepping back then. Both series tied 1-1 after road wins. What does this tell us about the playoffs so far?
Well, it really highlights some core truths about playoff basketball, doesn't it?
Like what?
Like resilience,
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah.
Both the Pistons and Clippers bounced back after a losing game one.
Right. Didn't let it snowball.
Exactly. Then there's strategic execution. Having a plan and sticking to it, making adjustments, especially in tough environments.
And star power still matters.
Oh, definitely. Individual players stepping up and making the plays when the team absolutely needs it. We saw examples of that in both games.
So now the pressure flips, right? The Knicks and the Nuggets, they're the ones who have to respond.
Yep, that's the challenge. You lose home court, you lose a tight one. How do you regroup? How do you adjust your strategy and come back stronger for game 3?
The intensity just ramps up another notch when it's tied like this.
It really does. And these games, as the sources noted, they're just great examples of why the NBA playoffs are so compelling.
Unpredictable.
Totally unpredictable. The margin for error is tiny. Things can swing so quickly. It's just top-level competition.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive then, Pistons, Knicks, Clippers, Nuggets, both on April 22nd. The big story is the road teams answering back.
Yeah, fierce competition, lots of strategic battles unfolding. Both the Pistons and the Clippers showed that kind of grit you need in the postseason.
Getting those tough road wins, evening things up.
Exactly. Sets the stage for some really intense games to come.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Reflecting on these two tight games, what stands out most to you?
Yeah, good question. Is it like the Pistons' defense locking things down on the road?
Or maybe the Clippers' ability to execute in the clutch those final seconds?
Or just the overall momentum shifts, how quickly things can change in these series?
Think about which of those elements feels most important for a team hoping to make a deep playoff run.
And how those factors might play out in the next games. Definitely something to keep an eye on.